Stand in the middle of your living room and look at every piece of furniture in it. Each one is being completely honest with you about exactly how much space it's using. That's actually the problem. A shelf reads as a shelf. A cabinet reads as a cabinet. Your eye adds up every honest object in the room and hands you a verdict: small. The 10 builds in this video all cheat that math on purpose. Some hide their real capacity behind a face built to look like nothing. Some borrow square footage that was never counted as square footage in the first place. None of them make the room bigger. They just stop it from telling you the truth. Number 10. The Facet Table. Most coffee tables announce themselves with legs, a base, 4 corners planting themselves on your floor. This one has none of that. It's built like folded origami, modeled facet by facet in CAD, CNC cut, then taped and folded into place until the miters lock. What's holding it up is a set of standoffs barely 3/4 of an inch tall. Your eye doesn't register a table sitting on the floor so much as a surface floating just above it, and that gap is doing more for the room than the table itself. A base breaks up floor space visually, even when it isn't blocking much of it physically. Remove the base, and the floor reads as one continuous plane again. Number 9. Vinyl storage 2 ways. Put a spindly-legged first record console next to a 400-pound walnut and brass one, and the lesson isn't about budget, it's about what's happening underneath. The smaller piece leaves the space below the rack completely empty. No shelf, no lower cabinet, nothing to catch the eye on its way to the floor. The bigger piece does the same trick at a heavier scale in a different spot. Continuous grain pulled across every drawer front, so 6 separate boxes read as one solid mass instead of a stack of parts. Storage furniture in a small room doesn't just need to hold less, it needs to show you floor underneath it or read as a single unbroken shape, so your eye can finish the room past the object instead of stopping at it. Number 8. A sofa table and a desk with something to hide. One of these shows you exactly how it's built. Wedged mortise and tenon joints, left exposed on purpose, branded by the maker with his own iron on his first real piece. Even he admits the base could stand to be wider if you're putting it somewhere with real foot traffic. The other hides its best feature entirely, a secret drawer built into an L-shaped walnut desk, the kind of detail that made grown woodworkers on a forum start swapping childhood stories about hunting for hidden compartments in their grandparents' furniture. Small space furniture splits into these 2 camps. Either it shows its work or it keeps a secret. Neither is wrong, but you should pick one on purpose instead of landing there by accident. 7. A pegboard and a table that forgot to be rectangles. 2 unrelated builders, 2 unrelated projects, and neither one reached for a straight edge when it came to the parts that didn't need to be structural. The first project is a banquette built to replace a bare concrete hearth that used to be a dumping spot for backpacks and a hazard for a 3-year-old. Now, 8 feet of drawer storage with a cushioned seat on top. The bench itself is dead straight. A rectangular box built for function first. What breaks the rectangle is the pegboard art mounted on the wall above it, cut into loose, organic blobs instead of a standard grid. The second project is a coffee table, built somewhere else entirely, that landed on the same idea on its own, an amoeba-shaped top on straight, tapered legs. Nothing about its outline trying to be a rectangle. A rectangle is the default shape because it's the easiest one to cut, not because it's the best one to live with. Put the 2 together and the pattern is obvious. It's the loose, curved shapes layered around the hard-working, straight-edged pieces on the wall and on the table that keep a small corner from reading as a wall of boxes. Number 6. 2 shelves built for a life you don't have yet. One of these was built for a bedroom. The joinery doesn't care. It's a single post slotted into a corner, shelves cut to lock into place with no glue holding them there, which means the whole idea travels to any corner in the house without needing to know which room it started in. The other was built to fill dead space behind a door, but designed with peg holes so it can be reconfigured for years and eventually converted into a hall tree with a seat if its owner ever lands somewhere with an entryway to put one in. Neither of these is finished furniture in the way most furniture is finished. They're built to keep changing jobs as your space does. Number 5. The shelf that replaced a creaking floor. Before this, that corner held a lean-to shelf, wide enough to eat real floor space and heavy enough that its own weight made the hardwood underneath creak every time someone walked past. The replacement hangs off lag screws driven straight into the studs with hand-beveled walnut caps hiding every fastener. These aren't technically floating shelves, not with side rails doing real structural work, but that distinction barely matters. The word floating was never the point. Getting the weight off your floor was. Number 4. The shelf that remembered where it came from. These shelves replaced a set the builder inherited from his father, and most people in that position pick one of two options: keep the ill-fitting piece out of guilt, or replace it entirely and lose the connection. He did neither. Instead of buying new lumber, he milled the new shelves from the boards of the old ones, then used the offcuts to build a matching lamp. So nothing about his father's shelves actually left the room. It just changed shape. Sentimental value doesn't have to mean keeping a piece exactly as it was, wrong size and all, forever, propped in a corner where it never quite fits. It can mean carrying the material forward into something that actually earns its spot in your current room, built for the space you have now instead of the one the original piece was made for. Number 3. Shelving built inside a wall that was already yours. This is the closest thing on this list to a loophole. Every stud bay in your house is already hollow. Nobody counts that space in a square footage listing, and nobody can put a couch in it. But a builder here pulled the drywall off one non-load-bearing wall and turned the gap between the studs into display shelving that adds 0 footprint because it was never taking up floor or wall space to begin with. It's deliberately uneven. There's a small triangular shelf at the bottom the builder openly calls useless and keeps anyway. Not everything you build into a small room has to justify itself with a job. Some of it just has to belong there. Number 2. The cabinet that used to be a blank wall. 2 boxed-in structural sections left an awkward gap between them, the kind of space most people would just leave alone or fill with a plant that dies in a month. Instead, it became a full wall of push-to-open storage, painted the exact color of the surrounding wall, no handles, no visible seams. Nearly everyone who saw the finished photo online said some version of the same thing. They thought it was just paint until they scrolled to the next picture. That's the actual goal for small room storage. Not storage that looks good, storage your eye skips over completely so the room gets the square footage back the moment you're not using it. Lastly, number 1, the cabinet that looked like nothing. $100 at an estate sale for something that from the outside reads as a plain, forgettable box. People online compared it to a police box that's bigger on the inside, and someone else finally named it a magic box desk, a mid-century design that now sells for thousands when the real ones surface. None of that value shows on the outside. Open it, and it unfolds into a full desk system, dozens of compartments, drawers, a working surface, more storage than a piece that size has any right to hold. The person who bought it didn't know any of this walking in. They just saw a box nobody else wanted. That's the whole idea this entire list has been building toward. Your room isn't lying to you about its size. It's just not showing you everything it's capable of holding until you're ready to open it up. One more thing before you go. SimHome runs lists you won't find anywhere else. The backyard decor one shows 10 setups people actually built in real yards, not staged ones. There's 10 small kitchen storage ideas that squeeze space out of nowhere, which is exactly what it sounds like. And small bedroom ideas, 10 ways to actually make them work, does what most bedroom content doesn't. It tells you what actually works instead of what photographs well. Every one of these gets the same treatment this video did. Real research, real sources, nothing pulled out of thin air. If you've got a few minutes, the link in the description takes you there. That's the video. If something in here actually helped, a like goes a long way. And if you know someone staring down a tight space of their own, send this their way. Drop a comment if you've got a setup like one of these, or if you tried something nobody's covered yet. See you in the next one.